What's going on, everyone? I'm here to give my 9-month ownership review of my 2022 VA WRX. I've had it since late October of 2022, and I've put about 13,000 miles on it since. It's my main commuter vehicle, so I only drive it about 20 to 30 miles a day. We've taken it on a couple longer road trips, about 200 miles, so about 4 hours in the car itself. But I feel like I've had it long enough to be able to be comfortable to give an ownership review and be able to explain to you guys what it's like to own a VA WRX. Alright guys, we're driving the WRX now. Just wanted to go over some handling characteristics and some performance capabilities. What I enjoy driving about it, you know, cruising, highway, or going to work on the kind of the side roads that I take. So when you're cruising kind of, you know, just along this main road here, it's pretty comfortable. Suspension is very sporty, so whenever you do hit those bumps, it can get a little jarring sometimes. But it's a really good suspension. On the back roads and stuff, when it takes corners, it is almost flat. I would say it's definitely the best suspension I've ever had in a WRX. Granted, I've only had one before. I just had a 2015 VA. And this one blows it out of the water suspension-wise, handling-wise. I would say that's one of the greatest things about this car is the suspension itself. Because whenever you hit the corners, you know, you want it to stay flat, you want to feel every little bit of feedback that you can, and this thing gives you that. But then, you know, cruising just on this road, which is like a 45 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour road, and you don't really feel too much. It's a pretty good commuting car. That's primarily what I use it for. That's why it's stock. There's no engine mods at all or anything. That's why I don't want to tune it either, because I need it to be reliable and, you know, get me to work every day. But in general, yeah, see, you know, it's nice smooth shifts. It's not lurchy at all. The tune on the engine is very good. It's very linear, unlike my VA, which was very peaky, and that's fun in its own right. You know, it was pretty dead up to about 3,000 RPMs, and then it would kind of just, you know, blow you back in your seat a bit till about 5,000 RPMs, and then it kind of let off again. Where this car, pretty much from about 1,500, 2,000 RPMs, all the way to redline, kind of just pushes you back the whole time. So it's very linear torque curve, or it's flat torque curve, linear horsepower curve. Overall, a really refined driving experience, and you know, it's has that get up and go to it. It's a very quick car. 0 to 60 is about low 5 seconds tested. I don't know. Real life, I've never timed it. It feels pretty good. I'll give you guys a probably from a slow roll. I don't really want to do a dig right now. But I'll turn on this road up here and I'll do a kind of like a, you know, 5 to 60 miles an hour pull. It's definitely fast enough for everyday driving. You know, it's faster than probably 90% of the cars on the road. The pedal placement is beautiful. I don't know if you can see the brake pedal versus the gas pedal, but they're pretty close together, but they're also even pretty much across where I can use my heel toe to downshift very easily. You know, because they're pretty close together, but they're not too close where you're gonna mix up the pedals or anything. But they're perfect for heel toe downshifts, which is exclusively what I use pretty much to downshift. I don't lug the engine or anything. I always rev match. It's easy to do. If you guys need me to make a video on it, I can do that too. Let me try to get some. There's too much traffic here to do a 0 to 60, but I got the 59 there, but you guys get the point. It's pretty quick. Second gear gets you only about 55 miles an hour, so you do have to shift twice. you know, you go from first to second, and then you get to 55, and then you just, you know, you hit red line, you got to shift up to third just to get up to 60. I think that's pretty similar gearing to my VA WRX. I remember not being able to get to 60 in that second gear either, which is fine because, you know, that means the gears are better positioned for, you know, more quicker acceleration. Stock exhaust is quiet whenever it's warmed up. Cold starts are really nice, as I've done some shorts on that. But in general, driving wise, you don't hardly hear the exhaust ever. You hear a little bit of turbo whine. It would definitely be more noticeable if it had an intake on it, which I did do with my last car, my last WRX. And I'd probably do it with this one too, but I would just have to get a tune for it. And then I'd probably do an axle back exhaust as well, just to give it that little bit more sound while I'm driving, not just on a cold start. But in general, stock car, completely stock car unit is just about perfect, I would say. I really do enjoy this car. I wonder if I can take this toner pretty tight. Yeah, so I mean, there's no body roll. No body roll at all. Very, very refined driving experience coming from a VA even. Just the last generation. This car pretty much improved on everything. And, you know, it's just done very well. I guess we can start with the exterior looks. So we got kind of a wide body appearance on this front fender well here. And that hood body line right there definitely adds to an aggressive character of the looks of it. There's the stock wheels. The fender arches, the plastic arches, really do not make a difference on this car. I think it's because of the color. It kind of actually, I would say, accents the car very well. And it honestly does make it look just slightly wider with those fender flares on it. And that's technically a functional vent right here, even though it's really just, you know, just a hole. Same with the front. Those are functional too. They really just are good at building up gravel and dust and dirt. I believe they come through the front grille section right here. The mirrors have built-in turn signals, which is a nice look. There are Rally Armor mud flaps on this car that I put on when I first got it because Subaru paint can be pretty thin. And why not, since it's, you know, supposed to be on some gravel and dirt roads occasionally. They make the car kind of have a nice little bit of a wider stance. And here's the back end, the controversial back end, the diaper bumper at the bottom, the tail lights. Honestly, that cross member, that black cross member, probably it does make it look like a Civic a bit, along with the tail lights itself. But looking into those tail lights, it's beautiful in there. It's like crystals. But you see that rear hunch right there, that rear body line that has that wide fender flare look to it. It does look really nice. It's that little hunch right there. I have almost no complaints about the exterior of this car. I do have the moonroof on this one. Came with the Limited. I believe it's stock on the Limited. But that's a very good angle right there. All right, let's jump inside. All right, on to the interior. So, seats are very nice. They're leather on the sides, suede in the middle. Can make it to be a little hot, but not bad at all. They adjust forward and back, obviously, and the rear lean is also adjustable. It has rear lumbar for your lower back. You can also adjust the height of the seat, so you can raise yourself up or put yourself closer to the road. Kind of gives it a, you know, either a more off-roady feel and you're sitting higher, or you can kind of sit on the ground and be more sporty. I got the WRX rubber mats, came with the car. Excuse the dirtiness. HK sound system. Fake carbon fiber around the door handle. Fake carbon fiber on the steering wheel. Overall, really nice space in here. And like I said, I have about 13,500 miles on the car. The 22 miles per gallon is for just this past week's road trip to work. Granted, it's 20 miles round trip and it's all back curvy road, so I kind of take them hard. Here's the trip for this tank of, I believe that's since I last changed my oil, so 600 miles ago. I've been getting 25 for the trip, so that's pretty on par with what I expect from this car. You can expect about high 20s in the highway, low 20s around the city. Big infotainment screen. You know, turn your heated seats on from here. You know, you can use, it does have wired Apple CarPlay. I do have a wireless CarPlay adapter though that I can go over later if people are interested. In general, the screen is pretty good. It can glitch out a little bit. You know, you have to hold and restart the screen every once in a while whenever it doesn't update or something like that. But in general, it's a pretty nice screen. Makes the interior look a lot more modern in here in general than my last VA Wrx. There's soft touch material everywhere. The doors feel nice and solid. It's all soft. Steering wheel feels about the same, but it was a good steering wheel to begin with, so I'll take it. Very nice interior. Let's go to the back seat. All right, into the back seat. Daughter's car seat's there. Same with up front. Suede interior of the seat, leather exterior. Same exact feel, comfort level back here as is up front. Same exact door panel. You got some USB chargers right there in the center console area. And you got a fold down cup holder too. That's surprising. Let's go to the trunk. So, good amount of trunk space. I think it's the same exact amount of cargo space as the last WRX had, so it's very usable. Good grocery getter. You know, you're not putting any lumber or anything in here, but it's really useful. It doesn't come with a spare tire, but it comes with a air compressor, and I believe there's a patch kit under there too. All right, let's get on it a little bit. Yeah, so it's a pretty quick car. I mean, for sure, you know, taking these turns pretty hard. No problem. Completely flat. This is crazy. Let's turn around up here, and I guess we can go back that road and hit some dirt roads real quick while I give you my conclusions. red line a little bit right there. It does have a little bit lower of a red line, I believe. Not sure what it's at, but I think it's lower than my VA. But in general conclusion, for what this car is, it is a jack of all trades, master of none, you know, in a sense. It's very good at certain things, for sure. The all-wheel drive system is amazing, just like every other Subaru out there. With proper tires, this thing can go anywhere. So the all-wheel drive platform is, I would say, one of the best in the business, for sure. The 2.4 turbo, I feel like could have used a bit more horsepower coming out of it. You know, 7 years prior to that was 268 horsepower. This one is 271. I feel like they could have bumped that up to probably more like 290, which would have been nice stock, because there's people like me. Honestly, I'm probably in the minority for WRX owners, but I really don't want to have to tune it or really do too many modifications to it to get it to be as quick as I think it should be. But in general, it's 100% quick enough for everyday use. You know, you can get on the back roads a bit too. It's built for this kind of roads. But it's a jack of all trades, so it has really good all-wheel drive. It has a good engine. The 2.4 is a pretty robust engine. It's only reaching like 12 pounds of boost, so it's not over boosting or anything, relying on a turbo at all to get its horsepower or torque. The tune is really good for daily driving. It's very linear. It's not lurchy at all like my VA was. My VA was very peaky, had a lot of dips and bumps in the torque curve and stuff, so it's kind of a much more of a refined vehicle, like I've said before. And it's fun on the back roads. I mean, it gets enough grip to accelerate, but it loses some traction to give you that little peel out feel. It's really nice. It's a perfect balance of all-wheel drive. And the turbo kicking in too, you know, it feels really good and powerful. I would definitely rate this car for what it is. It's an all-wheel drive sports car that you can fit car seats in the back. You can fit 2 strollers in the trunk. You can carry your family around. You can get mid-20s in the gas mileage, high 20s for a longer trip. You know, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10. There's really nothing that can beat it in this realm of utilitarianism in a sports car segment. You know, coming from a VA, this is a step up in almost every single direction. And, you know, I'm thoroughly impressed with the car. I really love it. You know, it's my daily driver, so I'm always in it. And, you know, there's some minor stuff that I would obviously choose to increase horsepower or torque coming from the factory, just because there's people like me that I don't want to have to do it, because, you know, I rely on this thing to get me to work every day. You know, I don't really want to have to tune it or anything like that to get the potential out of it. I want it to come at its potential. Or maybe an adaptive suspension, like the WRX GT model or whatever, the automatic, the one that I don't know how anyone's really buying, to be honest, besides the 6-speed. But the GT, I believe, has an adaptive suspension, and that would be nice to come on this model too, the limited 6-speed, whatever, just to give that bit of more refinement. It's such a refined vehicle. On highway cruises, though, your suspension can get a little rough. I mean, it's made to do that. It's a flat cornering vehicle, so you're not getting those flat corners without a stiffer suspension. It'd just be nice to be able to turn that on and off, which isn't a big deal. It's just why did the GT get an adaptive suspension and, you know, the 6-speed not? But other than that, there's really not much that you can't like about this car. It's quick, moderately fast at highway speeds too. It's definitely not slow. Has great all-wheel drive, off-roading capabilities, inclement weather capabilities. Snow is nothing with this, and you know, some good either all seasons or snow tires. Transmission's really good. Could be a bit more notchy, a bit more direct with its shifts. It's a little rubbery, but in general, there's really nothing to complain about it. Wind noise, acceptable for sure. Road noise in general is pretty low in this car. It's weird how they jumped from a rally car, sports car, to this car, to be honest. Just because it's such a heavily refined vehicle, suspension wise, performance wise. Driving comfort, the seats are really nice and comfortable. And you know, you got this big infotainment too. You got soft touch material all throughout the cabin. You got a moonroof. Really, you do have all the creature comforts. You have blind spot monitoring on either mirror. And you have rear cross traffic alert when you're in reverse. So it has come up with some of the technology that, you know, is on pretty much any other car, to be honest. But this car really does just have about anything that you would want in a car. So final thoughts are, it's a great vehicle. You can't go wrong to buy it. It does everything well. If you need to haul kids around or solo it to work every day in, you know, a blizzard, it'll do it just fine. All while getting somewhat decent gas mileage, you know, mid-20s. Granted, it's on premium fuel too, but I never complain whenever I go to the gas station because, you know, the miles per gallon is pretty high on this car. With that said, he's out.